everyone here. You join me tonight, Season 17, Round 9 at good old sunny Silverstone here. Of course, it's all shot down here, bringing you the coverage this evening. As the drivers we are shortly going to be heading out onto the track. 18 corners make up this beautiful track, 8 to the left and 10 to the right. It's of course most famously known for the home of British motorsport, hosted the first World Championship race back in 1950. The track itself has been one of the, I'd say, crown jewels in a lot of the drivers' eyes here, home to not only just some of the drivers on our grid this evening, but also a lot of the teams in real life Formula One. Ironically, calling it sunny Silverstone, I've just noticed the lovely British weather that the game has given these drivers today, which is going to make it very interesting for them, and it'll be lovely to see how they can keep their cars going around this track. Funny enough, I think it's the third longest lap you will find on the F1 calendar, only coming behind Spa and Baku. And there have been a few changes to the track over the years. F1 have actually visited this venue over 50 times now in regards to the British Grand Prix over the years itself. Of course, most famously noted to be on an old World War II airbase. Just going to see, and I think we're going to see some of the cars starting to head out onto the track now, so we are going to just jump on to some of the boys and see how they are going to find the weather this evening. First out on track, it looks like we do have Bannister in the Ferrari, set of intermediates on the car, and we'll be keen to see what this lad can do. Well, it looks like everyone, well, no doubt so far, is going to be opting for the intermediate tyres. It looks a little bit more like a swimming pool than a race track this evening. All 18 drivers by the looks of it here today. Be a nice packed grid. The track over the years has ironically gotten faster and faster for these drivers, with them seemingly using that left pedal less and less year upon year as the cars develop. But I think they're definitely going to need their left pedal today, especially with the conditions they're going to be running in. The rain just bouncing off that Ferrari as he comes down the hangar straight here. It'd be very nice to get off first on board with Bannister himself, as we will switch on to that now. We get lovely on board now of the lad in the Ferrari driver, going nice and slow through the final part of the lap to make sure he gets a nice drive. Don't want to spin the wheels up too much as he exits club and goes down across the line. So we're now going to be flying through into turns 1 and 2 of Abbey on the right here. Normally flying the drive, he's had a nice lift there. Chewy's been nice, stayed out of the way through Farm Curve. We're now going to drop it down into Village, one of the heaviest braking zones on the circuit, and a big overtaking point come the race day. Lap 1, keep your eyes there. We're going to follow him as he goes round the loop and down through Aintree, and then on to one of the first DRS zone really of the lap in that sense, of the Wellington Straight. It's going to come flying down now into Brooklands, nice and heavy on the brakes. He's going to want to chuck it in, not take too much curb on the inside, and make sure it doesn't run too far wide, because he's going to have to switch back himself onto the right now through the long right-hander of Luffield. And we are going to come up back through here in this nice little right kink here of Woodcote, and down the old National Pit Straight, which used to be where they started, and we're going to chuck it down into Cox on the right-hander, famous obviously for this year being the collision of Lewis and Max Verstappen, which I don't know if you have heard, caused a bit of controversy. And it's going to be a quick left, right, left, and another right through Maggots, Beckett, and then into Chapel at the end here, coming on to the second DRS straight come the race of the Hangers Straight itself. It's going to be flat out. It's been a nice, clean, neat lap so far. Purple through the middle sector, of course, the only driver out on so far up to this point. Up through Stowe. Kind of a blind apex, I think. You've just got to trust the car's going to stick. It's not going to slide off, which he's done brilliant there. And you're going to go down into the left of Vale, and we're going to have this like double right-hander, this kind of double apex. You can kind of take it in one turn there, and he's just kept it in the white lines there through club across the line. Where is he going to put ourselves as a benchmark for the 139.9? We are going to jump back now to, we have a couple cars out on laps at the moment, as we have Paulie just come straight through there with a 37.8, completely missed the Red Bull driver there. So he's starting to show what pace these cars have. We may have Glock who could be setting up for a lap, so we're just going to stick on board with himself. Oh, we've got Nosey coming through here. Where is this going to put the lad? He's gone with a 38.2, so he's split them at the moment. We're going to see Riker here go through in P4 with a 42.1. May have had a bit of a moment on that, who knows. The God King himself, Xerxes, has just started a flying lap. Let's just make sure I get this all set up properly. There we go, that's better. And Bloom has come through there. He's put the McLaren up into third with a 39.4. We have had a bit of a moment somewhere on track. Yellow's out. And again, through the final part of the lap, I've got two cars by looks side by side here. This isn't the race, boys. It's only quali. Play nice. As we have Mikey and CHM going side by side into Abbey in the rain as well. You don't want to be doing that in the dry. It's a bit of a risky one this early on, though. Clearly CHM starting his lap there, and where is Mikey? He just finished. I think Mikey just finished a run. Now, with all these lads on the Inters, they are going to be doing several runs most likely. Putting the Inters on a couple laps of fuel and just getting the temperature up in the tyres and easing themselves in. The lap times will start to drop as the fuel does, temperature and the tyres go up as well, the grip gets higher. And again, Paulie just raising that bar that little bit further. He's really showing what he has done. So we've just lost the driver, if I've seen that correctly. And Glock comes through with a 36.4. Jeez. Right, okay. Gloves are off here at Silverstone. Between these lads, we're just going to jump on board here with the letdown of State the Haas driver. And coming up to the end of his lap. Let's see if we can see that. Look at the rain coming off that car. He's up in the middle sector by a couple of tenths. Let's see how much he can improve. He's currently sat in 8th. So, where can he put that car? He's going to want to be as high up as he can, especially if the weather. Oh, he's a big snap of oversteer and he's off. He has gone off on the final corner. Is he still moving? Is the Haas in one piece? And remarkably, it is. He has got incredibly lucky there with cover. Looks like the most damage he's got. There's a little bit of end plate. God, that's the gravel trap has really saved him there. That is unfortunate, but it's nice to see that he is still going. He's got enough time in the session to get back and have another bite of the attempt in that sense. I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm just surprised that Haas is still in one piece, to be completely honest. That was a bit of a heavy snap, but right, let's see if we can cut round with some people here on. Who have we got? And Chewy Racing goes through. Looks like he's improving. He's up in a 4th place now for Mercedes, with his teammate Riker 5th, just behind him, less than a 10th of a second between those two. Oh, we've got the white livery running on the Red Bull this evening. I didn't even notice that. That is, of course, well, the famous livery that they ran at the Turkish Grand Prix last weekend. Codemasters adding it into the game, and it'd be nice to get a better camera angle than this one to see what it really looks like, and what they've done with it in the game itself. I don't know, I'm going to be honest, I do like the original Red Bull livery, but it's nice to see they finally did something different, and yeah, a bit of a sucker for that one. That's a car looks good, very good. Alright then, so instead of me drooling over the white Red Bull, we got here rundown so far. We got Glock with a 36.3, provisional pole at the moment with Paulie Orange 36.8 in second, with Nosey with a 38.2. And pretty much an identical time there between him and the McLaren driver. It was Xerxes at a 38.29. The Mercedes boys at the moment 5th and 6th, separated, like I say, we're just around about 10th of a second between them two. And as I say that, the other Red Bull of Steve-O puts us straight up into 3rd, joining his teammate. Right then, so as I mentioned, the fuel levels are coming down. It'll be interesting to see who stays out for how many laps. Few cars in the pits. Obviously, we've seen one would be for repairs. We do have Droftas and Sager in, no laps. Blood and Sand, Dan Murphy as well. No laps on the board. We do have AJC, so we're going to drop to the man himself in the Aston. He's on his outlap. I'm just going to ride on board with him and see what he can do. Now, I'm just having a quick look at the weather we've got come through here. We suspected that quali is going to be full wet, which I'd be very impressed if it somehow wasn't, especially with the condition it's in at the moment. But you never know. It's, you know, good old Blighty. Strangest things could happen. But when it comes through to the race, we are looking, well, only a 10% chance of rain for the race, which, well, any percentage of chance at Silverstone with rain is enough to make it happen. So let's see how AJC does. He just rounds the final corner to start his first, or hopefully be his first lap on the board if he can keep it between the lines. Going very quick up through Abbey there. Don't want to take too much, as the elevation change can really catch you out when you come through there. The back end snaps and you can end up backwards at the end of the pit lane, just like I believe Sergio Perez a few years ago. And it all looks neat. Had a little bit of curb on the inside there as he went through the loop. And he's going to cut down through Aintree now and onto the Wellington Straight. And he's just going to want to make sure he brakes just at the right mark so he doesn't slide too wide. And he's nice and tidy on entry. It all looks neat and tidy so far as well. Through Luffield, and he's going to want to get the power down, use as much curb as he can to run the car out, as he's done. And it's just all about momentum, carrying all that speed down through into Copse, and then just hoping, all bravery here, that the car's going to stay on the track as he chucks it in. Is he going to keep it in? And he does. Quite easily there by AJC. And again, in a similar fashion, this track in the wet can turn into a skating rink. He looks like he's got that Aston Martin under control relatively well so far. Down the hanger straight for him. Let's see what we're going to do. A couple more yellows out there. I don't know if that's just cars letting each other by. Stay there through Wood. I beg your pardon, through Stowe even. And bringing it to the end of the lap. It's been a very neat and tidy lap so far for the Aston Martin driver. First lap on the board. He's got 5 minutes left of the session, so if he's got enough fuel on board, he can definitely give it a couple of runs. And where is it going to put him? He crosses the line with a 39.2, putting himself up into 10th. So we've got more guys on their outlaps again, only a few in the pits. 5 minutes left of the session. I think we may see some, you know, I don't want to say the time's going to start dropping, but within reason, these lads are going to want to take it easy. They're not going to want to be too aggressive. And then we're going to want to make sure they can actually make it to the end of the session. With that in mind, we have another yellow down the main straight. Wellington Straight, that looks like one of the Alpha Tauris moving out the way. Like I say, it's nice to see that. It's these guys getting out the way of each other there. And I just saw, unfortunately, AJ running a little bit wide. Taking a bit too much curb, and unfortunately the lap is invalid. Let's see if we can find someone else for a bit on track here. We have Ferrari Bannister again, who's, I think he was 3/10 up there if I caught that correct, as he comes around the final corner, puts himself back up into 8th place with a 38.6. So he is improving. Well, unless the water's clearing a little bit here, they're getting braver and braver finding those braking points and seeing as late as they possibly can be. We're going to just cut back here to Xerxes, who crosses the line 0.02 off his best. So he's going to go again there, and by the looks of it, we could have his teammate who's just come out the pits behind him. Either that was a very good strategic play there between him and Bloom, or it was just one of those things that tends to happen in this league. Right then, we're going to see Xerxes going for another run by the looks of it. If he is, it'll be interesting to see if Bloom can stay with him. Is wide entry, but he's kept it neat on the exit there through Luffield. You can kind of see a bit of a dry line clearing there as the drivers are starting to, well, I say drier than off the racing line at least anyway. These cars are pushing the water away. This is just such a quick corner in real life for these drivers. If you ever get the chance to experience it, it is something else to see as well, the spectacle watching these cars go round. And he's definitely gone for another run again, so we're going to stay with him. It's a little bit on the grass just before he gets to the hanger straight, and he's gone purple in the middle sector. So he's in P4 at the moment. How high up can he get this McLaren? Where is this going to put him? Very interesting camera view there. Come through to the last couple corners. We've got there, we have Club, and he's down and across the line. And where is he going to put the man? He stays fourth, goes a little bit quicker again and 0.08 faster. Who we are going to jump to though is ironically his teammate who would have just started his lap. So we will be watching Bloom, who, fun little fact for everyone here, who did actually run the 10k, I believe it was, at Silverstone only the other week. So I don't know if it's going to be a blessing for him to see this track again, or if he's just going to be glad he's not going to take him the time it did to run it. But where can he put himself in retrospect to his teammate? Just over a second between the two McLaren drivers at the moment as it stands. We're down over the last 2 minutes of the session as well. You can see there several cars on the round. I've got a couple in the pits, which if they're looking to leave, they need to leave now for a lap. It'll be interesting to see if they can get out in time. Bloom is now going to come right the way down through to the final part of the lap. How is he going to hold it together? And I just have to be on board with him in regards to this and watching him, because him himself even said when he was running down here, even he threw up on the Hangar Straight. So I don't know how many people can say they've got that as an accolade, but Bloom, you've done it. I'm proud of you. Right, and he's going to come to the end of the lap. How is it going to be? A little bit of traffic in front, but it should clear before he gets to the line. He's down in 11th at the moment. Where is the McLaren driver going to go? He comes down across the line, and it's going to put him in 11th place again, nearly matching his previous best. So looks like a couple of these drivers are finding their limits already, and it's tough to push a bit further, especially in these kind of conditions. We do have Glock on a lap. He has gone quicker as well in the first sector by a 10th. And then we are Paulie's on an outlap, Nosey, Xerxes, everyone's out with Chewy. That'll be him done for the session. Prev, he'll be done. Droftas, if he's made it into the lobby, is not going to be setting a lap. So, where will this be? It'll be tough to find out who's going to be where. Glock and a few of these drivers, by looks like he goes purple in the middle sector by 0.4 of a second. He's improved by nearly half a second so far. This is a flying lap for the Alfa Romeo driver. Coming up through Stowe now, down to the last part of the track. If he can keep it neat and tidy, could be the first driver to get into the 135s. And we have a retirement of Mikey. Possibly could be in the pits. And he crosses the line with 35.8. So it'll be interesting to see, does he go for another run? Because he has enough time to if he's kept the fuel on board. But that was one hell of a lap for the Alfa Romeo driver. And the flag is out, so we are going to try and find the drivers as they come down here. Xerxes comes to the end of his lap, closely followed by Nosey and Bloom. So where are these three drivers going to go? This is their final run. Xerxes crosses the line and stays fourth. Nosey, he's going to cross the line. Where's he going to go? He's going to stay third by 0.3 ahead of Xerxes. Bloom crosses the line up to 10th with a 38 flat. Right, who else have we got coming around? It looks like we have one of the Mercedes coming to the end of the lap, as Steve-O and Bannister are in. Riker coming around. Where's he going to be? Currently down in 7th with a 37.9. How good has this lap been? Come through the final quick right-hander, and he goes up into 4th with a 37.4. Brilliant lap. Going to try and drop back there. Who have we got on a lap? The Sega crosses the line, 13th with a 38.9. AJC has come into the pits. We have CHM. Is he finishing the lap? No, he has dove in as well. So we have a letdown estate who has backed out of his lap. Where is the man? There is Paulie Orange. Where's he going to be? And I think just ahead of him on track is Glock. Has Glock gone for it again? He has. And these two guys are very close on track. Again, I'm expecting a close race between these two, as Glock is going to come around the final corner for his final time of the session. What's he going to have on the table with a 35.7 improves again, and Paulie Orange across the line with 36.2. So what a display there from these guys, as Droft has just gotten into the session, which is brilliant again. So we could be seeing a Another last to wherever challenge by the Williams driver. Right, and so session as it stands for the race, we're going to have Glock leading the way with a 35.7. I'll get it right eventually, with Paulie Orange joining him on the front row with a 36.2. We're going to have Nosey sitting in third there, 37.2, and Riker with a 37.4. Xerxes and AJC will be rounding up the third row. Chewy and Steve will be on row 4 there, and we'll just wait for the final classifications to come through now. And there we have it. So we got down to Chewy and Steve row 4. Bannister and Bloom will be making up row 5. Row 6 we will have the Aston Martin of Mikey and the Haas of Let Down to Stay, who had that bit of a moment earlier on, but he managed to get the car to 12th. Sega and Prev will be lining up just behind them, and the Williams and the AlphaTauri, and then bringing up the back end here we do have CHM in the Ferrari, the last classified time there, where we have Blood and Sand, Dan Murphy and Drofdas, all with no time on the board. However, all three of them have shown pace, so this will be great fun to watch them come through the grid. And just like that, the rain is gone, the sun is out for the race. So this will be a very interesting one to do, considering all these guys have just done, well, depending on how much practice they've done before the session, they only know so far is the wet track itself. When it comes down to the strategies here, I believe 52 laps they're going to be running around here this evening. The most popular will be the one stop, either a mix from the soft to the mediums or the mediums to the soft. I have a feeling that we are going to see a lot of these guys starting on the mediums today, taking it across to the soft so they can finish on the quicker tyre. Alternatively, if there are a couple of safety cars which we could have around here, yes, a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing incidents unfortunately can happen. The two stop medium and two sets of softs as well will equally do the same job. Silverstone's one of those tracks where with the tyres that there isn't too much difference in regards to how far you can run them. The soft itself, we could easily be seeing these guys, depending on how easy they take it, up to the halfway point of the race. Undercut can be quite powerful here as well, especially with the delta between the two compounds. However, it can be a risky strategy, as the pit lane itself will feel like an eternity, as it is one of the slowest and one of the longest on the F1 calendar. Right then, and back in time for the formation lap as Glock is going to lead them away. You know, like I say, just like that, the rain is gone. The cars are now going to be glistening in this lovely sunshine. It's going to be very confusing with the Alfa Romeo of Glock and the white Red Bull of Paulie at the front. It's going to be intriguing to see if we can keep up to date with those two. I expect to see a lot of action up and down the grid here between these guys. Like I say, 52 laps. We saw the pit strategy come up there, one stop favourable, and with the strategies, let's see who has gone for what. When I can find the right bit. Where's it gone? There we go. So, Glock and Paulie starting on the mediums. Nosey Riker taking the softs. Xerxes on the mediums. AJ and Chewy on the softs as well. So we've got a nice mix there, but the back end of the grid, if you look there, you've got from 13th backwards, Sega, Prev, CHM, Blood, Dan and Droft all opting to start on the medium tyre and looking to finish on the faster set of rubber. One stop run about laps 26 to 28, I believe, we could be looking at for these guys. So it'll be good to see what they can do. And are we going to see any carbon fibre end plates fly off them as they run down into Village for the first time? Let's jump back down here, look at them all come down. Dust kicking off that track, wow. Yeah, no, that's a nice livery. Yeah, I'll give them that. They've done a good job of that. Right. Dan, and there is Droftas bringing up the rear in 18th. Right, so we saw them dance around Silverstone in the rain. How are they going to fare in the dry? All 18 drivers are going to be lining up now, and I really hope the game can give me a better camera angle than this one for the start of the race. That one will have to do, as 5 red lights are up and they're out very quickly, and it's underway here in Silverstone this evening for round 9 of Wheel to Wheel. And Glock gets away brilliantly, and it looks like one of the Mercedes is up the inside of Paulie Orange Riker. We're at Wheel to Wheel there with Nosey. And we've got an Aston Martin of AJ who looks like he's gone a little bit wide there. It's all going to come flying through that first part of the track, but everyone seems to be facing the right way. And no carbon fibre from what I can see there has come off. We've got position change, and we've got Xerxes. He's on the inside, he's dropped a couple positions off the start there. He's now being lined up by Bannister as they come down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. And the Ferrari doesn't get it on the brakes. He does, he's gone straight through and straight up alongside the outside of Steve-O on the softs. He's going to run around the outside here. Does he get the drive? Not quite. Yeah, we're going to cut back to the front as they're going to fly down into Copse. Are we going to have any Lewis and Max moments here? And it looks like they are all keeping it nice and sensible. No side by side. As I say that, Droft makes the move on CHM through Copse. But he's run wide and he's dropped the position back to the Ferrari. And nearly dropping it to Prev as well, as we've got Dan and Sega changing up for position. Right then, so everyone's away nice and clean as they come onto the Hangar Straight. Oh, nose to tail coming through the lap here, but out front here, Paulie Orange is reeling Glock back in after an amazing start. So we could be seeing these boys going at it again this evening for the top place on the podium. And we have a car dropping right back there, the Haas. Back there, and it is a letdown mistake. Did we miss damage on the Haas driver? It could be unfortunate if he did, however he's on the softs, so he's going to have to chuck away his faster tyres. It does mean he can put on a longer lasting set and maybe hope for a safety car. We're just going to sit on board 2 seconds while he comes in. Is there a change of front wing for the Haas driver? There is. So it looks like he's the only victim of the first lap round Silverstone. And a cut back to the front, and Glock has held the lead to Paulie so far. As they are going to run down again up into Copse for the second time now. Let's see if we can find something a bit more interesting to look at here. So Dan Murphy up 6 positions from the start. What a brilliant start from the man. Xerxes and Mikey look like they're having a bit of tussle here. as they are all over each other. It comes down to this one. Let's just keep this nice and clean. And look at that train. We've got a nice battle forming there for 8th place. Nice group of cars. Mercedes and Aston, and Mikey is going to go up the inside into Stowe. And Zaxby's had to just be careful because it looked like Chewy was going to follow him through, and Dan Murphy and Bloom are right behind them as well. So Mikey now leads this little train. And they're saying so we have a change of position nearly between Chewy and Dan. Right then, don't want to cut away from this one too much, but back at the front we still have Glock and Paulie. Just behind them we do have Riker, who are back at Portugal. Showed some very good pace behind these two when it came to sticking with them as they were having their tussle, and the speed of that Red Bull compared to the Alfa Romeo, very impressive. I'm just going to ride on board here with Paulie, who's doing his best to get as close as he can to Glock as they're going to come down to Stowe. He's not going to be close enough to have a look just yet, but this time round they do have the DRS, so I'm just going to stick with him and see what we have when it comes to the hangar straight, and can the Red Bull driver make the move to take the lead. And the DRS wide open on the car. He has a look, but he thinks twice, keeping it nice and clean. And just want to cut back. I didn't notice, but McLaren dropping down the order. Xerxes dropping 2 positions, possibly 3 to his teammate now, in the space of a couple of corners. And I'm going to jump down to 11. Bloom up to 11. Xerxes dropping it down to 12th there. And I mentioned he had a bit of pace under his belt. Riker keeping it clean. And he's just looking at the back of these two now. He's sticking with them, keeping them modest at least. He is on the softer tyre, but he's definitely going to have to be able to keep those guys under some form of pressure at least. Let's just see what else we've going on. A nice little train here between Knowlesy, AJ and Steve-O. The battle for 4 heating up there, and unfortunately with the first penalty as well on the board, the seeking of Xerxes. But these front three, if you look at that little map in the corner of your screen there, they have just broken away from the rest of the field, and this is going to be an interesting fight for the lead. Make it a little 3-way tussle. Ironically, Mercedes behind a Red Bull going into cops. No contact though, which is always nice. They are flicking through there. We have Blood and Sand, and Xerxes dropped back another position. He's dropped out to Blood and Sand. There must be some damage on that McLaren. What is Paulie going to do this time? Is Paulie going to go for it? He's a lot closer this time on the Alfa Romeo, and he's going to be on the inside as they go through Stowe. Side by side, he's left the room. Nice fair racing between the two as they go down into Vale. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? Glock holds it on the inside, leaves the space just for Paulie, but Glock does hold the lead. In doing this though, this is going to put Mercedes and Riker right on the back of the gearbox of that Red Bull as they go on to lap 5, and these three are just going to do the same dance again. Right, and so a little bit further back now we do have AJC. He's holding his own. Oh, he's actually got past Knowles. He must have missed that overtake with Steve-O just behind, so we'll just stick with these guys a second. Change that actually. We've got the DRS zone coming up. What is Paulie going to do? Is he close enough? He won't be this time round unless he does send it. AJ looks like he's just done enough there to keep Knowlesy behind him. Steve-O is keeping it nice and clean behind those two. He's going to probably enjoy the fact he's not having to squabble too much there. Can look after his tires a little bit more. Coming up behind him though is Bannister on a soft, so the alternate strategies are definitely mixing this one up. Let's drop a little bit further down the grid. We have Droft, who's up into 12th now from starting at the back. Dan as well, who started near the back, and Blood and Sand. They're all making moves up through the pack. And Xerxes, who has got Sega all over the back of him. There must be something wrong with that McLaren. And Paulie Orange has picked up a penalty as well. And Xerxes is going to have to That's the second one on the board, though. That is going to be big for the race at the end. And Xerxes concedes the position to Sega. Drops the McLaren down to 15th. Just going to see what else we have going on. Here's a few squabbles going on track still, which is always nice to see. Nosey did get back in front of AJ now. Unless he had a big moment, Nosey's really turned those softs on very quick. We've got Xerxes in the pits. Is there a change of front wing for the McLaren driver? There is, so he did have damage, unfortunately. Where is this going to bring him out in retrospect to the heart of a letdown estate? I know it's not the most interesting thing action-wise, but I just want to see, has a letdown estate actually made time on those softs? As Xerxes has gone for another set of mediums by the looks of it. No, he's gone for softs as well, beg your pardon. So, the letdown estate has cleared him. So, right then. Let's see, we've got a bit side by side, the blooming blood and sand going at it into Cops. Well, back up through the field, couple clumps of cars there, and the leading duo are back at it as they come down into Stowe. And again, Paulie Orange gets up the inside there, elbows out, makes the move on Glock, but Glock has still got the inside, he's got the space, Glock's later on the brakes, and he gets the move back. He's not wanting to give up this position. However, compromised his exit there as Paulie Orange is now right on the back of that Alpha as they're going to come up through Abbey Farm and into Village. Is he going to play it tactical here, wait for the DRS detection point and get him down the Wellington Straight? Because that Red Bull is looking mighty racy at the moment. And it looks like Glock did get a little bit of a better exit there. Is 4/10 going to be enough? And just behind them we have Riker as well in this little DRS train. He's still there. He's really sticking with these guys. He's closer than he's been before. Those softs look like they are doing him absolute wonders as well. And it looks like they are going to be evened out for a little bit. I'm going to jump back here to see what we have going on. Dropped us up to 11th now. A very strong start for him. Yeah, Blood up to 13th, Dan up to 9th. And like I said earlier, they've had a great start to the race for those guys. Alright, so back at the front. Glock, who's just gone purple in the middle sector, so fastest of anyone so far in regards to this, is holding the lead. So he had a nice drive onto the Hangar Straight. The leading trio are just gonna start to slowly pull away. They have nearly a 6-second gap, 5.5-second gap between third and fourth now. So this is doing wonders for Riker's race at the moment as well. The fact he can stick with these guys, make most of the DRS tow, and most importantly, he's going to be the one there that if anything happens, any slip-ups, mistakes, Riker could heavily benefit. And we've got another penalty on the board, unfortunately, for the Alpine of Dan, who has just crept up onto the back of Bannister and Mikey now. So this is another little interesting battle we could see unfold. They come onto the Wellington Straight. And Prev, unfortunately, has picked up one as well. So these track limits catching a couple drivers out early on. It's only lap 8 of 52. So these could be important to the race results. Dan, looks like he's got some very nice pace on those mediums at the moment compared to the guys in front. Remember, Dan didn't actually set a lap time in quality. He's going very fast. We're going to see some side-by-side into Cops. Not quite close enough, but he's got some serious pace at the moment. And AJ's picked up one as well. Very unfortunate for the Aston Martin driver. Stay with these guys as they come on the Hangar Straight. So Dan is going to be close enough here with the DRS. Bannister's rear wing is wide open, so is the Alpines. As Bannister goes left, ready to take his, to kind of defend in that sense on the zones. He can break that a little bit later, and he does so. Dan is not getting close enough this time around, but he's all over the back of the Ferrari. He looks like he's going to have a go into Vale. Up the inside, both drivers being very fair in that sense, giving room, a little bit of a squeeze on the inside. Both cars still facing the right way, and he does get up into 8th. to see how our leading trio are doing at the moment. Bit of a gap starting to form there in regards to Paulie and Riker. 9 laps in, those softs probably getting through the halfway stage now from what they were probably going to be expected or what they're going to be asked to do. So it looks like they could be getting a little bit of a handful as the draft ass is all over the back of Chewie now. This is for 10th. The Williams driver. It's all over the back of the Mercedes. Let's ride on board here. He's got a couple cars in front of him. Chewie, Bannister and Dan, who we just saw made the move on Bannister. Let's see what happens here. Draft down and look. Just doesn't look like he has much straight line speed, or Chewie using a bit of the ERS there to stay in front. Very close to the front here as we have a move done, and Paulie's much later on the brakes this time. Gets the move done. Here's Glock going to come back, and the Glock's taking a penalty as well, so that evens up at the front. For those two, Paulie is going to be fine. We are going to quickly jump back to this battle going on here as Bannister's been gained on by Chewie and Droff very quick. Bannister's got a little bit wide on exit, but he's carried the speed. What that's done is compromise Chewie's line, and Droff is going to take full advantage of this. Up the inside, round the outside of Vale, in through the club, down to the line, and that is Droff. That's up to 10th. Sights set on the Ferrari. Back up at the front. Droff has managed to gain a couple of tenths there on Glock, just keeping that lead as it stands for the time being. Cars very close together, up and down at the moment. These little packs, it's great to watch and great to see. These guys must be having fun, or at least I hope they are, because it looks fun. And Droft is looking at Bannister here. Is he going to try something into Luffield? He is. He's going to try a switchback and send it around the outside of the Ferrari. Brilliant attempt, and he's actually done it. He's got the drive off the corner. Brilliant move by the Williams driver as he moves up into 9th. At the front, is Glock close enough to go back at Paulie? Not this time. Riker's just slowly dropped off a little bit there, but he's still got a nice cushion. 4 seconds, 4.5 now to Nosey behind, who has kind of in a little bit of limbo himself, actually, to be fair. We've got AJ and Steve-O running it pretty much in tandem here. The battle for 5th heating up between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull, and we have a position change there. We have Bannister and Droft. They are going at it, and Bannister's returning the favour on Droft. He just doesn't get it slowed down in time. What that's done is really compromised his drive, and Chewie's right up behind him. Meanwhile, we have another penalty on the board, which is for a let down the state, and Xerxes has caught up to the Haas driver. Both these guys have to make a pit stop early on. Let's see if the McLaren can dispatch off the Haas and make way. It doesn't look like a let down the state's going to put up much of a fight, or is he? The straight line speed very impressive, and he backs off just before they hit Stowe. Looks like he may just be trying to stick with the McLaren, maybe use the faster pace and keep it to pull himself further forward. Those two lads are going to definitely be mixing out with people when these pit stops start coming in. We have close action up and down as another penalty makes it onto the system for Sega. See who we've got here. Steve and AJ are still running fine. We have Mikey. Dan is right up behind Mikey now. He is a man on a mission. He looks to the right, not quite close enough as they head into Maggots. He's going to try and get a nice drive here through Beckett's and Chapel. And he comes down. Is he going to be close enough? We're going to gaps 5 tenths. Is the straight long enough for the Alpine to get it later on the brakes? Maybe thinking next time around, not at the moment. And Mikey will be able to relax just for a brief second as these two are going forward. Droftas is going to start to make his move and reel them in as well. There's a few things I've got to try and keep my eyes on. We've got Chewie and Bannister now. They're very close on track. Chewie is going to be liking the fact that he has the DRS, and just like that we've had a move into 1 by the looks of it by Dan. If he's done that into Abbey, that was one hell of a move. So fair play to the Alpine, up to 7th now. Alright then, so does Mikey have any answer to come back at the Alpine down the Wellington Straight? Doesn't look like it at the moment. maybe he'll be saving up something to come back in. At the front though, they are still nose to tail. Paulie Orange still holding the lead though over Glock. As they're going to come onto the hangar straight, surely Glock is going to think about having a go back again if he has the speed. Is he going to get close enough? He's going to be closing him down, and the braking in the corner comes just that bit too soon for his liking. And he's going to have to enjoy the back of that Red Bull for a little bit longer. AJ and Steve-O side by side, and Steve-O's done it. The Red Bull has made the move in the DRS zone, down the hangar straight, up into Stowe, and that is Steve-O up into 5th. So at the moment, a very strong showing by the two Red Bull drivers. This will be brilliant for their constructors side of it. Aston Martin having a decent race as well in 6th and 8th. Some good team showings here at the moment. Are we going to see Glock have a go again? It looks like Paulie's just a little bit too far away. Glock much later on the brakes. So he's really trying to get as close as he can to the back of that Red Bull for a tow. Looks like Paulie will be safe for that little bit longer. Let's see what else we have going on. That is actually the closest battle on track, and Bloom has left the session by the looks of it, so bear with us 2 seconds. Obviously something will happen, but what we're going to look to do is see if we can get him back in. Sorry about that brief break, just need to get an invite out to Bloom, getting back in the session. That is a shame when the internet does that, unless it was just an issue with the game. That can happen as well. We've got CHM who, unless I've just missed that one, must have just made a pit stop. He has. No, he hasn't. Okay, beg your pardon. So he's been caught and passed by both Xerxes and a letdown estate. The Ferrari driver looks like he may just be struggling a little bit around it this evening. However, he's got no penalties and he's keeping it consistent. One of the longer standing members of this league. Been around for quite a while. And he's a very good racer when it comes down to, well, he's very tough to pass, at least in that sense. Always seems to run a very low downforce, very high top end speed. And Bloom is back in. We're just going to keep an eye on the leading duo now, as they are the closest two on track. Only 0.3 of a second separate them after 14 laps. So just over a quarter of the race down already. And these guys are going to probably start to be thinking about pitting. Well, it's probably got another good 10 to 12 laps, depending on what they decide. Well, who blinks first, really. As you can see on the map there, they've completely checked out front. Riker is probably going to be happy with his first opening stint so far on the softs. He's done brilliant to hold third, and he's just in his own little race there. Same with Nosey as well, doing his own little thing. So I'm just going to double check who's made the most. Sedan is up 10 places from the start. Droftas up 9. It's brilliant. Now, unfortunately, the guy who's lost out the most so far would be Xerxes, dropping down by 11 places. It can happen. Just want to see if we can get the timing screen's gone a little bit funny there. I've lost all the times regarding. Oh, hello. We can't change driver. Oh, there we go. Right, okay. Keep this as it is for the time being. Those two are going to just follow each other around again for another rotation. So we've got a nice gaggle of cars forming up here. It looks like Droftas is now closing in on the back of Mikey. Droftas showing tremendous pace here on those mediums. Just behind we do have Bannister and Chewy very close as well. the leading duo have just gone down to the end of the hangar straight there, and Paulie just held the lead still. Speed draft as carries through that first part through Maggots. Just so much more than the Aston Martin there. A bit of a snap of oversteer from the Aston. Here's Droftas going to have the speed. He's got a very good drive off there. He's going to be late on the brakes. He's going to flick it to the inside. He's going to send it up the inside into Stowe. They're going to go side by side. He's going to leave the space for the Aston Martin. Nice fair racing here as well. As Mikey's going to look to hold it. He doesn't. Droftas just holds the position. And we have an Aston Martin in the pits of AJC. Now, this is either very early on for a one-stop, or if he's carrying damage, possibly. Is it influence? No, it isn't. This is a strategic move. So he is going to be onto the set of mediums now. He possibly could push these to the end if he's lucky. He's probably thinking he wanted a bit of fresh air. But it could be, we could be looking at a two-stop here. Mediums, and then ending the race himself on the softs. But a very interesting call to see how that one pans out. We have Xerxes in the pits as well. Unfortunately, he has picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and the McLaren driver's dropped out as well. So, again, just like previous, just going to see if we can get him back into the race. Send that one out there, and Glock has gone with the fastest lap of the race. And we have Paulie and Glock, and it looks like we've got the ghosted car there of Xerxes. So they're disconnected there, unfortunately. Just in front of the leader, who will be getting DRS, which Glock will not be happy about there. That is not going to be what he wants to see, as he's hunting down to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. To see a lapped car and giving the DRS to the guy in front, and once again, saying that these are the closest guys. We've got Droftas who's now starting to hunt down Dan. Both these lads started right near the back. Tremendous start to the race still so far for them. Going very strong. We have a very close battle here between Sega and Blood and Sand though. Blood and Sand's all over the back of him, and he's going to look into one. Strangely, the car does look ghosted. That is a disconnection by the looks of it. Okay. So I missed that when that happened. Alright, so Sega up to 13th. Bannister and Chewy running fairly close on track still. I'm just going to see if we can get Blood and Sand back into the session as well. Go. Red picked up his first penalty, unfortunately. That is unfortunate. Oh, sorry, a penalty in regards to that. We've got some proper action going on here as Bannister and Chewy are really scrapping away here, lads, to get the position. Keeping an eye on our chats as well. Blood and Sand not too happy with the game itself. So sounds like it was just a game disconnection, unfortunately, which is never nice to see. It's very annoying when it does happen, especially after you've committed so much time to the race itself. Chewy is all over the back of Bannister. However, the gap at the front is extremely close between these two now. Again, just going to ride on board with Glock for a bit and see what he can do. He can finally dispatch off of Red Bull in front. do have a move side-by-side position by the looks of it. Chewy and Bannister, they are really scrapping away for that 9th place. And again, back at the front. It's hard to keep up to date with these guys here. And that Alfa Romeo is getting so close to the back of the Red Bull. These guys are just impressive, just how much pace they have, and just in tandem they can run as well. Right on board with Glock, see what he can do down the home straight, see if he can get that move done on Paulie, or if Paulie's saved a bit of extra battery maybe to stay in front. The others are going to be wide open. Paulie pulls straight to the left to try and break the toe. And Glock is gaining. He's getting closer and closer and closer. He's going to flip to the inside. He's going to be a little bit later on the brakes at the inside of Stowe. Paulie hangs it out wide just to keep momentum going, and he does so. And does stay in front for the time being. He's gone a little bit deeper though. Glock's gone for an alternate line, and it looks like he's going to get the better drive. He's have to lift a little bit. Coming through Club, which is compromised his run down the start-finish straight. But these two are very close, and we have Dan and Steve-O. Change for position, missed that one. Apologies there, as Dan has moved up into 5th now, and Droftas is still closing down with him. And Chewy and Bannister again. Change position, they're going to run side by side nearly. No, Bannister's a little bit later on the brakes, and he does hold the position. He's up into 9th for the time being. Back out at the front of the gap, 2 to 4 tenths between these two still, so it could be a race 1 on pit strategy with how much these guys are showing they can do at the moment. Chewy as well getting very sticking with Bannister, and Chewy on the softs. We do have Bannister on the softs as well, actually, to be fair saying that, so they both on equal tyre, where you would imagine Sega is in the pits as well. So let's do a quick update on the tyres. Let's have a look. So we've had a couple of people stop in regards to this. Sega's on for a fresh set of softs as well, so maybe committing to a 2-stop. Did not mean to do that, but at the moment all tyres equal wear. AJ, so I beg your pardon, Prev and Blood as well, having a bit of a squabble. I'm just going to stick on board with Chewy as he's going to go up the inside off Bannister into Stowe to return the favour and make the position back up. Does Bannister have the speed to come back at him? He's looking at it. Looks like Chewy may have just covered that one off. So that was a good drive there by the Mercedes driver. Now back at the front, I had noticed a change of position. Looks like Glock has got back out in front again there, and Droftas has dispatched of Steve-O. So Droft really not letting Dan get away too far in front. Remember, these guys started right near each other on the grid at the back, and now they are up into the heights of 5th and 6th. So it's a great drive from these two so far, and very impressive as well. Bannister is sticking with Chewy. He's having a think. He's having a look at the end of it. He's much later on the brakes as he dives up the inside. The Mercedes cuts back. Brilliant move by Chewy. Bannister trying everything he can to get back ahead and back into 9th. Just isn't meant to be at the moment. Back at the front. Let's check in on these two, see how they're doing. And Glock has broken away. The gap is up to 6 tenths, and he's also set the fastest lap of the race in doing so, with a 30.6. And Riker is in. Right, so Riker's in, and Nosey as well. Two of the guys at the top both making their stops. And see if Riker's have to take any change of wing. No, it is just a nice clean swap onto the mediums. Is he going to get held? He is going to get held. That could be costly. No, well, I think he did. I don't know, the game glitched a little bit there. Nosey is in. No front wing change, fresh set of mediums, so they have mirrored each other. Where that leaves them coming out the pits. Let's keep an eye on that. As Riker is going to come out right behind the battle of his teammate and Bannister. Nosy. No one has split those two, so Nosy is still the next car on track behind Riker himself. Just behind we do a Bloom running in 11th at the moment, still yet to make a stop, but he is running on the medium, so he's going to be going a little bit longer than the others. Let's do this. That was some side-by-side action. Bannister and Chewie really going for it here. Side by side through left field. Bannister's been put on the outside, but is he going to get the drive? And he is, but is it going to be enough? Because they're going to run side by side into Cox, but Chewie just has that speed. That straight line of that Mercedes, it's very dangerous, very racy. Going to stick with these two because right behind them, Riker, fresh out the pits on some new mediums, is going to show some serious pace. Is Bannister going to be close enough to Chewie to get the go back? It looks like Chewie may have actually done enough to hold the ground for the time being, which is what the Mercedes driver is going to be wanting, and so will Riker. But they both dive in. That's it, they're both in. Synchronised on that one there, covering each other off. So that's Riker now up into 7th with a stop done under his belt. So at the moment, yeah, he's the highest guy on track at the moment. He has made the stop. Nosy behind him, 4.2 off him. And the leading two is still line astern. Very impressive. But back with Droftas, he's finally caught up to the back of Dan. And like I say, these two guys have been very close all race. A cut to the front actually, we've got some side-by-side action for the lead. Clock and Paulie are going at it again into Vale and Club. Looks like he may have just come out better off there. And he will hold it for the time being. We're going to cut back to Droftas, who's going to look into Stowe. Round the outside of the Alpine of Dan, and he's going to move up into 3rd position. A hell of a drive by these two guys so far. And the fact they're together on track as well just shows they've both had to make the effort and make the overtakes matter or count, sorry, when they can. And we'll jump back to the leading duo still. And again, we just have two white cars battling away for the lead on lap 24 of 52. We'll look around here to see what else is going on track for the time being, and lead Nosy with the quick lap of the race now, 30.3, brilliant lap for the Alpha Tauri. Yeah, Bannister and Chewie. Here we go again. Let's see what we can manage. Better drive through Club. It's going to be right on the back of the Mercedes as they go down through Farm Curve and into Village. He'll be definitely sizing up that Mercedes for a run down the Wellington Straight. Let's see if he gets close enough. And Paulie's picked up another 3-second penalty. Bannister's getting closer, and he's up the inside to the end of Wellington. But Chewie's just done enough to keep that Mercedes in front for the time being again. Chewie's going to be spending as much time as he's looking forward as he is going to be looking backwards, because all he's going to see is that scarlet red Ferrari all over his gearbox trying to find a way through, and he's done a brilliant job in covering it off. Let's see what else is going on. Dan is sticking with Droftas as well, which is good to see. Glock is a couple of tenths again further up the road than Paulie would probably hope he would be. Paulie going to be close enough into Stowe, and not close enough. These lads are most likely going to be thinking about pitting soon in the next couple of laps. And their tyres are going to be coming to the end of their life. Fairly surely. There's a bit of traffic here in front of Droft. It is unfortunately the disconnected McLaren of Xerxes, who is going to be benefiting Droft with that DRS, just like it happened before. Sedan, seeing the rear wing open on the car in front is not going to be what he's going to be wanting at the moment. He's going to want to be sticking to the back of that Williams as much as he can. Further down the grid, I've got that lot on the map there. We again, Bannister and Chewy, providing some great entertainment. Lap after lap, and they just don't want to seem. They just don't seem to want to leave each other alone at the moment. Nice little fair thing going on here between these two as they go around Silverstone, lap after lap. Nosey sets another fastest lap with a 30.2. Is Bannister close enough this time around? He is not to the Mercedes. Back at the front of the gap is down to 2/10 again between these two. Right before the hangar straight as well, so this could be a prime chance for Paulie to get back in front and retake the lead. That track position he's going to want. He's going to look at the inside. The drivers are going to run side by side through Stowe. Glock's going to hang it out wide there. He's got space. They're going to run wheel to wheel down into Vale again. Glock with the inside, holds the lead, but Paulie's gone for the better drive out of the corner. Is he going to try anything down into Abbey, or is he going to think better of it? He has a little look there, but thinks better of. He can hold on now to the Wellington straight. He's going to get that extra bit of help with the DRS, and hopefully that can be him sorted. Further down, we do have some movement going on. We have Bloodenstein in the pits itself, and we have got Bannister and Chewy. They have changed. The Ferrari's back in front. So, brilliant battling going on between those two. And it's Paulie close enough to try down into Brooklyn's not this time out. Another car in the pits. Who we've got there is Mikey is in, and we double take there. We've got a Haas by the looks of it being left, and we have Droftas and Dan. Both again still running in tandem when it comes down to it. Now it'll be interesting to see where the two Aston Martin guys come out. Something happening a little bit different on track. Mikey compared to AJC. AJ stopped a lot earlier, around lap 16 I believe it was, if I'm thinking of the right driver. So where is this going to bring those two out when it comes to it? And AJ has come out in front. The battle at the front, pretty much touching each other as they go down here and through Stowe. But if I just caught that in the corner of my eye, the timing differences there, and again Glock has done enough to hold on for another lap. They cross the line on to lap 28 of 52. This is dangerously going to be coming into pit window territory now, so it's going to be interesting to see if one of them wants to blink first. They've 26-second gap over the cars behind. Around Silverstone might not be enough to actually get out in front. See if Chew's going to be close enough to the Ferrari. Bannister into Stowe, and he's up the inside. Bannister's going to hang around the outside later on the brakes, but they've left the space. Just not close enough for Chewy this time round again. Very close between these two guys. They are fighting it out for 11th place. Now remember, these two guys have pit already, I believe, so there are a couple of guys in front that haven't stopped yet. These guys have both kept it clean in regards to the penalty situation as well, so they may be having a good battle, but they're having a very strong race as well. And I'm going to jump back to the front with Glock. Beg your pardon, we're going to stop that a second because Dan is right on the back of Droftas. The battle for third is starting to heat back up again. I don't think Droftas was expecting this from the Alpine. And here we go. Paulie down the DRS zone, around the outside of Glock into the little bit on the grass into the braking zone. Very risky move. But it's paid off and Glock has dived in. Glock has blinked for the undercut onto the softs. So he may have just been waiting in regards to the move to be made and then probably thinking if he pit first, he may have had Paulie follow him in. So this is a big strategic play by the Alfa Romeo driver and could prove vital in regards to this. He's going to need one hell of an outlap here, and in the same respect Paulie is going to be looking at probably one of his quickest in-laps he's going to need when it comes around to it, to see where they do come out in retrospect to each other. We have a soft position here between Nosey and Riker at the end of the hangar straight there. One of the DRS zones. Nosey has done it himself, brilliant. And as I thought, the gap was just not enough to drop out in 2 seconds. So Glock has actually come straight out behind Dan and Droft, which is going to be interesting. We've got a yellow out in sector 1. Who do we have off on the side? We misplaced the colour of Sega, unfortunately, by the looks of it. May have had a moment through Aintree, but this is not what Glock would have wanted. He would have wanted the clear track. So at the moment, it's going to be very close in regards to what could be happening here. So, as we thought, Paulie Orange is in. It looks like Dan was looking at Droftas, but Glock has made the move instead. He's wanting to clear these guys left, right and centre. How is he going to dispatch of Droft? Is he going to go for around the outside on the softs? Droft keeps the wheel in, but those softs are just that much more in front. So where have we got? We've got Glock coming around the final corner with Droftas. Where is Paulie going to be? He's just leaving the pits now. It is going to be very close in the exit, sorry, beg your pardon, as they're going to run side by side nearly into Village, and Glock just gets in front. And importantly for Paulie, he's just got in front of Droft. And while all that's happened, we have had Dan actually has come into the pits and changed onto a fresh set of soft tyres. So the Alpine looking to do pretty much what Glock has done to Paulie in doing the undercut. So Droft, sorry, beg your pardon, is going to be looking for a quick in lap if this is going to be the lap he decides to pit. I believe we just lost Steve-O as well, so again we'll see if we can get an invite out to them and get them back into the session ASAP. Right, there we go. Glock may just have done enough there to get his tyres up to temperature and get ahead, because he looks like he's going to survive another lap. That closing speed of the DRS is absolutely insane. And he's all over the back of the Alfa Romeo again. There is Droft going to come in. Droft is in. I would have thought he's reacted to Dan. So that'll be another one to keep an eye on in regards to the exit of the pit lane. Bannister and Chewy still very close on track. Let down a stay in Blood and Sand. If Blood and Sand is back in, they are very close on track as well. There's a couple of battles up and down here. Steve-O's back in, so that's always good to see. Second Red Bull is back in. And where is this going to leave Drop-Dustin compared to Dan? Where is Dan on track at the moment? Dan is just coming down into Vale and Club to end the lap. Droft is just at the end of the pit lane. He may have just done enough here actually to get out in front. And Droftas has done. So he's had a very good in lap there. Maybe with the DRS off the guys in front, but he has jumped Dan and had a nice bit of an advantage in doing so. So the battle at the front here, Paulie and Glock all over each other again. Definitely one. I wasn't expecting this to go on for 52 laps, but so far it hasn't failed to disappoint. And down the hanger straight, side by side, and this time Glock's put Paulie around the outside, but Paulie has done it into the braking zone. Glock very close under braking. So a little bit later, just trying to see if we can edge him out at all. A little bit of contact there between the two under braking there. This just shows how close these two really are. He's practically pushing that Red Bull through that palm curve of the toe he's getting there. And Glock is going to look it down the Wellington straight here. Paulie is going to hang it out a little bit wider, maybe trying to get the cutback, but it's just the switchback not going to be there this time around for him. And these two look like they are going to go again down to the hanger straight in tandem to see what can happen. And there we go. Paulie has returned the favour back into Stowe and is back up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Looks like we're having another little tussle going on there as well between Bloom and Steve-O. Little trio of cars here, AJ, Steve-O and Bloom. We're going to cut away from the leading action for the time being. We're going to cut away, not cut to Bannister and Chewy, and watch some other drivers that are having some moments. That's very close, and we've got an Aston Martin in the wall. He's managed to keep it going, but it looks like he may have lost an end plate there. And a slight bit of contact between AJ and Steve-O. That is something that, again, can be put forward to the stewards if they feel like there was any wrongdoing. And unfortunately, that is going to be AJ into the pits after a strong showing. But to be honest, he did pit early, so surely he's going to slap a set of softs on now. Ironically, right behind Steve-O, and we can imagine AJ is going to be going to the end on softs, surely at this stage. He is in the front wing change to go with it. So that battle ended quite surely, but Bloom now is running in some nice clear air. A little bit of a gap over Mikey behind him. And then again, the closest battle at the moment, minus the 2 in the pit lane, is going to be... Oh, we do have Sega and a let down State, who's starting to close in Sega, 13th now. And it's nice to see he's still going in a bit of a moment earlier on in the race. He's closing, and he's just looks at it into Stowe, but thinks twice as the car in front looked very loose at the back as he was going through there. And they are starting to ghost, as they do have Knowlesy behind him coming up to lap them. A let down State, very nice to see. Straight out the way, blue flags, and goes behind Knowlesy to make sure he doesn't hold him up. Even though there is ghosting in the league, we still expect the drivers to play their part when they get blue flags and move out of the way. Sega, who looks like he's going to give Knowlesy the benefit of a DRS toe here, Let down a state may even get that as well at this stage. If he has held it close enough to the car in front. It'll be interesting to see where Sega decides to move out of the way of the lap car. Lap ahead, sorry, and he does so on the exit of Luffield. So again, it was nice he did do so. And the gap 1 second between those two now. And we have Bloom in the pits. He is on to a set of when it changes. Camera. We can see he's going to come out the pits. And where's it going to bring him? Just up the road from Steve-O. And AJ was battling with the lap before. Got a nice bit of a gap there though, and again nice clear space with this fresh set of softs. And we will cut to Chewy and Bannister now, who still are fighting lap after lap over what is going to be for 8th position. Is Chewy going to have any answer for Bannister as he comes down to the hanger straight? Find out. As the timing screens have decided to do whatever they just did to make my job a little bit harder. So is Chewy going to be close enough? He's going to have the rear end wide open. He's going to throw it to the left, and he's going to clear the Ferrari. Should be easily done before the braking zone. Just about Bannister has a think about it. Definitely looked tempted to try and stick a nose back up the inside, but again, you look back at the Mercedes, so just in front of them is the Ferrari of CHM. So you can imagine it's not going to be in the way in regards to that. He will be moving very likely out of the way for these two guys when the blue flag is showing. Just to tell the back, we have had to move between Sega and around the state. It looks like that was done into Cops as well. So that was a brilliant move by the Haas driver to move up into P13, and then he's got a bit of a gap now to the guys in front. But the way that it's been going, we've had bits of end plate flying off occasionally now. Anything could happen. We have AJC's off and he's out of the race. He has gone off through Farm Curve, and it looks like the back end may have stepped out on him. That is very unfortunate. Trying to figure out now if the game has safety card this. Oh, we're getting just a VSC, sorry, or what? So that is a crash. It looks like everyone's going around still absolutely fine. We have a car in the pits of Sega. If there is anything out, the game graphics aren't telling me too much here. Well, then, I don't suppose there is one at the moment. Okay. Trying to work out a couple of bits here in regards to those two. So Nolsey and Riker, yeah, both stopped in the same lap, of course they did. Trying to figure out which way they were around before, and I believe it was the Mercedes driver that was in third for majority, so it looks like Nolsey has made the move at some point, because he has cleared himself a nice bit of gap for third at the moment as it stands. You never know, Riker may be looking for a second win there to come back at him. Still plenty of laps to go in the race for anything to happen for any of these drivers. And back at the front again, they still nose to tail. Paul Leon is still holding the front in that sense, doing his best to keep the Alfa Romeo, who is nipping at his heels every corner. And again, both leading duos picking up penalties. We are going to have a quick look at the penalty situation, as we've had a few come through. That'll be very interesting come the end of the race, and as looking at that, we're going to see Steve-O being lapped by his teammate. I believe he may have disconnected, so that's probably why that may have happened, but again, that'll be something that needs to be looked at, stewards. Yeah, so it looks like it's even for third. The more crucial, unfortunately, is going to be the one for the lead, because both drivers have driven absolutely brilliantly. Droftas could be a dark horse here in regards to the podium. Saying that, he has just been passed by Dan Murphy down the Wellington Straight, so either of these lads, in that sense, unfortunately Dan has had a few penalties, but we could be looking at Droftas getting a little bit closer. He needs to be within 3 seconds of Nolsey and Riker. Well, maybe, yeah, Nolsey, sorry, beg your pardon. See if we can do it, but Glock has made the move down what would have been the Wellington Straight, and in saying so, unfortunately Droftas picked up a penalty as well. It's very unlucky, so late on into the Grand Prix. Very impressed with the drivers are out there at the moment that haven't, in regards to Mikey, Alistair Bloom, Blood and Sun and CHM, in regards to that. Here's Paulie going to come straight back at Glock. He looks like he's going to be very close going down into Stowe. He's got such an overspeed with the DRS, he's going to be straight up the inside this time, and he's just going to make the move down. But Glock looks like he's carried that extra bit of speed to come back at him down into Vale. Side by side these two go. There's a bit of contact and Paulie's gone round. That is so unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. They've been so close lap after lap, and it looks like we had a little bit of a knock there between the front left of the Red Bull and the rear right of the Alfa Romeo. Again, if it's something that they deem needs to be looked into, that is precisely why we do have the race stewards, and that'll be appealed with them if necessary. But up to that point, absolutely amazing racing between those two guys. Brilliant racing. However, selfishly, that does mean I can focus now on the closest battle on the track for a little bit more, which is going to be Bannister and Chewy. sorry about that. Take a brief break there, as we did see Dan did get ahead of Riker, moving himself up into 4th place, and we are riding on board with Droft, who looks like he's going to be trying to follow Dan through on the Mercedes driver. It looks like the softs have just had a little bit too much, a little bit of contact between the two. They're going to run side by side through Luffield now. Droft us on the outside. Is he going to be able to carry the speed? Riker closes the door, please. Droft is getting a bit of a drive, but the Mercedes is just going to eke away a little bit there. Down the old pit straight into Cops. Trying to keep an eye on a few things in that regard, so I'm still keeping an eye on the deficit there between Chewie and Bannister's. Glock has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 28.4. So the Mazda stands, the extra point for fastest lap will be going to him. This time though, I don't think Riker's lucky enough to have the DRS. He isn't. Droftas is going to flip to the right, and he's going to sail past the Mercedes with the DRS open. Shouldn't be too hard for him, as long as he gets the braking right, which he does. And that's the move done. Up into 5th. Right. So the battle for 8th looks like it started to die down a bit. That gap at 6/10. I know it's only 6/10, it's probably the biggest it's been between these two for a little while. But the DRS zone is probably going to say bye to that as they come down the home straight. Is Chewie going to be close enough to get back at the Ferrari? Doesn't look like he is. The Ferrari has, and Bannister's done just enough, but he's a lot later on the brakes than that Mercedes. That's insanely later on the brakes. He brings himself straight up to the back of the Ferrari. Bannister's gone defensive into Vale. And through the club now, he's right on the back of the Ferrari, so they're going to run down the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight, as it is called now, down into Abbey. Still just on the back of the Ferrari for another lap. He may try down into Wellington. Sorry, down into Brooklands, down the Wellington Straight even, to get back up into 8th position. Is he going to be close enough? Is he going to get the drive as they come round Aintree? Bannister may have just done enough to eke ahead again and keep it in front, but again the Mercedes, the speed of that car. Chewie's, whatever setup he's running there, he's got very good brakes and a very nice top end in regards to that. Bannister is just going to hold ground for the time being. A little bit further back though, we are going to see what looks like a battle between Steve-O and Blue as the leaders. Trying to figure out here. Just gone. Well, sorry, the leader, Glock has just gone through. Next up behind these two is going to be Hawley in the other Red Bull. Sit on board here with Steve-O for a bit, see if he can reel in the McLaren. That is 410. After wheel-to-wheel this season, the AL1 and AL2 splits both race together, but all positions, I believe, do get the points. And that was a brilliant drive onto Hanger Straight there for Steve-O. DRS wide open, and he can have that done before the braking zone into Stowe, and he has done. He's passed the McLaren just like that. And is Blue going to have any answer there to get back into the top 10? The sole remaining McLaren, unfortunately. What's he going to be able to do? Steve-O may have just got the speed to pull away a bit there, so a bit further up we still have Chewie and Bannister going at it there. We've got Prev up in front, unfortunately he's a lap down. That'll be helping out Bannister in regards to any DRS he can do. It looks like he did get the DRS as well off of them. And a bit further up here we have Riker coming back at Droftas. Back for that 5th position. The overspeed of that Mercedes again with the DRS. This is not what Droftas will be wanting. He'll be wanting to try and get his foot down on the soft and get up to Dan, who is now 4 seconds up the road from him. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be more of a, they started both together at the back and they both ended up on track at the same time. And it looks like Dan making the move on Droft to get in front and breaking clear is just what he's needed to do, because he's going to be setting his sights now on that potential P3 of Nosey. Drop back here to Chewie and Bannister. They're going to run side by side again through Stowe. Chewie holds it out wide, which is going to get him the drive, but Bannister's still there. He's going to be later on the brakes. We've seen Chewie get very late on the brakes into there and control it, and he has done again. runs wide to carry the speed of the Mercedes back up into 8th place again. These two swapping positions as they, I believe, are going to be a lap down to the leader. So this will be lap 46. And very close to this contact. It looks like Bannister may have just missed his braking zone. That is going to be absolutely gutting for the Ferrari driver so late in the race. He's not going to be happy with himself for that one. They've had such a good scrap lap after lap here, and it just got a little bit too close there, and he's going to have to limp that Ferrari back to the pit lane to change a front wing. It looks like Chewy, no punch or nothing like that, so the Mercedes looks like it is a-okay to keep going. It's a shame to see that happen, especially after such a scrap, and Riker's jumped back in front of Droftas. So they're going to come down into Village. Droft surely is going to want to get back out of that Mercedes now. After all of that hard work he's done to climb up the grid, he's probably going to want to be as far up as he can, especially the fact he's on the softs. And Riker doing a fantastic job to come back at him there on the slower compound tyre. And is he going to be close enough down? Wellington is not. So Riker will keep P5 for that little bit longer. But as it stands, this is actually now the closest gap on track. Unfortunately, the two battles we've been watching race long have both been separated in regards to the final part of the race. So unfortunately, Paulie has picked up another penalty, unfortunately. But interesting to see, we've got Bannister, who's just been passed by Steve-O. Bannister opting to stay out with 4 to go. So clearly he thinks it's worthwhile staying out. I mean, theoretically, he could only drop one more place to Bloom, and then he's got a nice 50-second cushion over the likes of a letdown estate. So he clearly thinks doing the pits now, he's probably got nothing to lose in regards to staying out, just seeing if he can hold track position. Steve now up tonight. Should be good to see him back up into the top 10 securely. Droftas is slowly looking at the back of Riker. Then we're going to cut back into, I believe Bloom is going to close very close. There's a bit of contact between them as well. But it looks like he may have just gotten away with it on his front wing as Bloom moves up into the top 10 for McLaren. Bannister's come back at him, and they're side by side through there. It's very impressive. I don't know if that was a position out, but he swapped back again. Bloom has not had the DRS, but he has cleared the Ferrari, and you can't help but think he is just going to pull away now. The front of that Ferrari, unfortunately, as much as these guys around here aren't braking much, Bloom is in, and so is Bannister. Very late pit stops, so obviously they've got enough time, to be fair, to not drop any position to let down a state in 12th. So these guys may be possibly, top 10 fastest lap, seeing if they can take it to the front runners. But it's going to be a battle of the pit stops. McLaren versus Ferrari. Who is going to be in and out first? It's a change of here's a change of front wing for Blue. So there must have been some damage there. It's a change of wing for the Ferrari. Which mechanics can get them out first? Blue is probably a glitch in that one there. Bloom's been released, so has Bannister, and they have held position. Just jump back forward a bit there. Droftas not quite as close as he was to Riker last lap, so those softs may be coming to the end of their stint. 3 to go here for the leaders. Round Silverstone. This has been a very good race to watch, and some good side-by-side racing, as for the time being we're going to have 2 battles to focus on really in regards to Droftas and Riker and Bannister and Bloom. And I mean the main was to keep the focus on, but 49 laps down, and Glock leads the way to Paulie Orange. Nosey running a very strong race in 3rd days, clear of Dan now by nearly 8 seconds. So it looks like those softs really are starting to fade away. Riker 5th, brilliant at the drive so far by Dan as well, up in the 4th, starting at the back. And then the other guy that joined him alongside there, dropped us up into 6th place as well. Mikey, the highest runner at the moment, up into 7th. However, no penalties, so that is very impressive to see for the Aston Martin team. Then we do have Chewy, of course, running in 8th, Steve-O 9th, and then we have the two lads here running in the battle, which will probably be the battle for 10th between Bloom and Bannister. Again, no penalties for these two either. Always impressive to see. After a very unfortunate start to the Grand Prix, let down the state up into 12th. Running strong, and we do have the other halves of Blood and Sand in 13th, Sager up in the 14th, and we do have Prev 15th, CHM in 16th, and then we do have, unfortunately, well, the disconnected McLaren of Xerxes running in 17th. Now see, we've got a car off, and it is CHM. CHM's gone round. Oh no, that is absolutely gutting for the Ferrari team. See if we can jump on board with someone who's nearby. Oh, hello. There's a Ferrari off. And that is coming out of Lufford. That's in what car? He's lost the car. By the looks of it, unfortunately. With a couple to go, but interesting. I don't know if it's a full course yellow. I don't think it is. Glock has opted to pit with 3 to go. So he's going to relinquish the lead to the Paulie, which I believe this could be a play in regards to fastest lap to cover it off, and possibly in regards to penalties. He may know he's safe. However, I don't think he realised he's actually relinquished second as well to Nosey. Just a quick jump here in regards to the penalty situation. Nosey with only 3 seconds, Glock with 11, Paulie with 12. The stewards will be looking into any that need to be removed, if they do. But right now, Nosey looking very good for a finish here, actually. A very strong finish if he can stick with Glock as much as he can, but Glock's wasted no time in clearing him on the fresh softs. But there'll be 2 laps to go, so if Glock can clear him by, we're going to be looking at what, 8 seconds in a lap, fresh softs versus what I can only assume logically is going to be a 28 lap old mediums. Nosey could be on for a very strong showing here. He's got the DRS that pulls him back up into contention, as crossing the line to start the final lap of the race is going to be Paulie Orange. So it's going to be interesting to see how the penalties play out regarding all of this, and we do have some action further back between Bannister and Bloom. These two are going to be fighting away. This is going to be as they cross the line onto their final lap, so we're going to want to make sure we jump back and keep an eye on those two. But up at the front, we've got Paulie Orange, who's got a 4.5 second lead over Glock. He's a further 1.5 back is Nosey. Very strange to see what happens there, but we'll quickly hop back to Bloom, who is all over the back of Bannister as they come down onto the Wellington Straight. Is he going to want to try and get in front before, or wait till the Hangar Straight and just hope he's going to be close enough? Let's see. As Bannister moves defensive, Bloom up the inside, but Bannister just layer on the brakes as he can hang the car wide, but he's gone a little bit deep, and Bloom is going to try and send it the long way round of Luffield. Maybe try to switch back with the drive. Is it going to be enough? Possibly into Cops. We're going to look at them as they come into Cops. He's going to think better of it, as he may hang it out through to Hangar Straight. But up at the front, we're going to jump on board with our race leader as he's going to enter the last couple corners of the race. 52 laps down. Penalties look like they are going to take place, but as it stands, Paulie Orange is going to come across the line for the Red Bull and take P1. Glock cross the line in second place, and Nosey, has he done enough in regards to penalties? That does bump Nosey up into first place for AlphaTauri. What a drive. Just to jump back, and we're going to see Dan Murphy come around, a brilliant drive up in the 4th. Riker is going to come around here, bringing the Mercedes home in 5th, and Droftas again Brilliant drive, starting at the back, up into 6th place. He's just got to navigate these last couple corners, and that will be him good to go. Has it down across the line, and yeah, brings up his 6th. Mikey, again, all he's got to do is navigate the last sector of the track, and that will be interesting to see how it plays out. In regards to, he's the last guy, I believe we have him and Chewy, the last two on the lead lap. As it stands, coming through the last couple of corners. There we are. As I said earlier, in regards to anything that needs to be looked at in the stewards' reviews, anything like that's where we do have them there. They will be appealed by the drivers in regards to the penalties or anything that may have happened on track. However, as it stands, Nolsey for the AlphaTauri team taking P1 over Paulie, Orange and Glock. Second and third, who were the two protagonists we were expecting to take either the top step away today. Dan started down in 17th, getting up into 4th. Riker up into 5th, like I say. Had a solid race as well. Droftas from 18th alongside Dan, like I said, he's up into 6th as well. Brilliant drive by Mikey, started outside the top 10, claws it up into 7th, like I say, the highest finisher without getting any penalties. Chewy, Bannister and Steve-O rounding out the top 10, followed by Bloom, Let's Down Estate, Blood and Sand and Sega rounding off the last couple drivers there. So it has been brilliant to watch these guys race around here today. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it and listening to me waffle on about it as much as I have. But as always, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you all next week for another race of Wheel to Wheel.